Hello Junior Rangers and welcome to a virtual tour of Waipaveld National Park. On behalf of Parks Victoria, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the traditional owners of the land that we stand on today, the Watchabolek people, past, present and emerging. Parks Victoria respects the deep and continuing connection that the traditional owners have to Waipaveld National Park and recognise their ongoing role in caring for country. My name is Kelly and I am a Field Service Officer here in the Southern Mallee area of Victoria. And Waipaveld National Park is situated about 450 kilometres northwest of Melbourne. We manage and protect over 882,000 acres of mallee woodland and heathland landscapes. It is a semi-arid environment here, so we don't get a lot of rainfall. All the creeks that run through the park and the lakes that sit within the landscape have been dried up for decades. But one thing, we have some incredible flora and fauna that have managed to adapt to these really harsh conditions. And one very special bird that calls this place home is our unique Mallee Fowl. So come with me and let's go scratching around with the Mallee Fowl and find out what makes this bird so incredible. The Mallee Fowl is part of an extraordinary family called the megapodes, or simply mound builders. So unlike most birds, and even like your humble backyard chook that creates a nest and lays its eggs and then sits on those eggs and uses its body temperature and heat to hatch out its chicks, the Mallee Fowl uses the sun, the rain and elements of the environment and a little bit of science to hatch out its chicks. So if you can imagine, the Mallee Fowl is not much bigger than your humble chook, and it only has little chicken legs, but it manages to scratch together all this dirt to create this huge nest. So to create the nest chamber, the Mallee Fowl must dig a huge hole within this nest. So it will dig a huge cone right down in that mound, dig it all out like you do when you go to the beach or in your backyard. And then once that big hole's there, they will then scrape together all the leaf litter and bark that's lying within the landscape. So they will windrow it all together, scrape it all into that hole, and then they have to wait for it to rain. So that leaf litter then is just absolutely saturated with water. Then they will then come along and scrape all that dirt back over the top of that leaf litter and create a huge mound. So this nest is only in its construction phase at the moment. It would normally have a big mound of dirt over the top of it. That locks in the moisture, and then that's when the magic happens. That leaf litter starts to decompose and it creates heat, which then incubates the eggs. And that is why this makes our Mallee Fowl so unique. The Mallee Fowl has endured a lot of environmental factors that have contributed to a huge decline in their numbers, that they actually sit as a threatened species, which is really, really sad. But going forward into the future, we can all help protect not only our Mallee Fowl, but our beautiful environment by 3 really important rules. Always take your rubbish home with you, recycle it correctly, reuse and reduce, because this also helps protect our national parks and reserves for future generations.